could start with the roll call, please.
Councilmember Brightingham.
Here.
Councilmember Nguyen. Councilmember Tran.
Here.
Councilmember Muñetón.
Here.
Councilmember Aristegui.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Dovin.
Present.
And Mayor Klopfenstein.
Here. We will move on to invocation, which will be led by our Assistant City Manager, Matt West. And then if I could have Councilman George Brightingham lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Please prepare yourself according to your faith. Dear Lord, as we come together this evening, may we be inspired by the richness of our diverse community, where our strength lies in our differences and our unity forms the bedrock of progress. Let this meeting begin with a shared commitment to making decisions that enhance the well-being of every person we serve. With purpose and dedication, may we continue to work in harmony to uplift and serve the best interests of all of Garden Grove. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Please face the flag, hands over heart, begin.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to go a little out of order. We're going to go ahead and pull item 1 from our consent calendar, which is adoption of a proclamation celebrating February as Black History Month in Garden Grove. Can I get a motion?
Moved.
Okay, call for the vote. And I believe
Motion
we have-
receives 7 yes votes.
And our Assistant City Manager will read the proclamation.
Proclamation, February is Black History Month, and I'd like to invite Bobby McDonald, who's going to be here to receive this, if you'd like to come up to the podium. Whereas, during the month of February, the nation celebrates the vast contributions of African Americans to our nation's history and identity. Black History Month is designed to recognize and pay tribute to the contributions that African Americans made and continue to make to our nation's economic, cultural, spiritual, and political development. And whereas the 2025 national theme for Black History Month is African Americans and Labor. This theme focuses on the significant and profound role that Black Americans have played in the labor force throughout history, highlighting the intersection of work and the Black experience. And whereas Black Americans as business owners, labor leaders, teachers, essential workers, chief executive officers, and more have made significant contributions to our local communities, state, and nation. And whereas the observance of Black History Month highlights the contributions, struggles, and achievements of African Americans in various fields of work and encourages the continued advocacy for equity of Black Americans. And whereas the City of Garden Grove is proud to be an inclusive community in which all individuals are respected and recognized for their contributions on a local, state, national, and global level. Now, therefore, the Garden Grove City Council does hereby proclaim the month of February 2025 as Black History Month in Garden Grove this February 11, 2025.
Oh, wow. That's pretty. That's real pretty, thank you. Oh, hell yeah. Sure, sure. This is awful nice, very pretty. Thank you. Again, I deeply appreciate the City of Garden Grove recognizing Black History Month, and it's really important this year for labor, okay? I kind of related to, every now and then, the Lunar New Year and Black History Month cross over. But when I looked at it and I was thinking about words today, when you talk about labor, I look at the individuals, our ancestors that came and built this country, whether it was for free labor or you got paid labor, they helped build this country. We all did. And when I think of Black History Month and then the crossover and all the friends and stuff we all had to build this country, whatever it took, it makes me proud. Again, I'm glad for this. I'm proud, and better yet, 10 days from now, it'll be the 41st anniversary of the Black Chamber here in Orange County. We were founded during Black History Month in 1984. So again, I don't want to say too much other than thank you. Thank you for this honor. I really deeply appreciate it, and we'll find a place in the office for this. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, so now we will go back to oral communications. I do have a handful of cards. When you address the podium, please state your name, your district if you know it, and you have 3 minutes. We will start with Kyle Mason.
Good evening, everybody. Well, first of all, I want to thank Philip for coming out and taking a look around. As you said to me, you came out a couple hours earlier and you saw people over in that corner that we observed. I wish you'd come over to the Social Security building and talk to the security guard and see all the stuff he picks up, all the needles and stuff like that. You know, the promenade, if they would pay for half that fence that we discussed, and the people who own Social Security, I'm gonna hook up find the people that own the building. I want to talk to the people inside that are, I've already talked, I'm getting the names. And when I do get them, hopefully I can get them to you. If they'll each pay for half that fence, like I said, it'll stop a lot of the robberies through Walmart, the whole promenade, and then the fences for the bridges to get the homeless out. How does it feel to be watched? When we were in the parking lot, and I'm glad Sergeant Brown was there, the gentlemen that were asking us for money, isn't it funny? That's only a little bit of a problem. So, again, right after you left, you ought to see the pictures I got. It's unreal. We need to clean it up and make it safe for the area. I mean, there's people in our neighborhood afraid to walk around the corner to go shopping. And, you know, and it's getting worse. I left last week for the 5-6 days, and man, it's just unreal when I came back. So a few people, when they see me, they know that I'm around. And I want to appreciate all the police officers that came to visit me and asked me to kind of slow down because of a couple people that I actually did injure that weren't supposed to be there. But I'm putting a stop to it. It's going to stop one way or another. These people are going to stop coming from Stanton and coming up in that riverbed area through there, one way or the other. And I'm going to do it. I don't care how. So, again, I appreciate you coming out, and I pray to God that Stephanie, you guys will do something, and please put a fence up in this area there and make the gray building over there, where the building that I've thought maybe you guys were a part owner of. If you guys could somehow or another build a wall and put a fence in that area, I got so many pictures. It's just unreal. How many more bodies are we going to have to pull out of that place? I know it's going to rain really good the next couple of days, so it'll be washed away. There won't be any problems. So, anyway, thank you guys again for coming out. All right, bye-bye.
Thank you. Joel Silverthorne?
Hi, my name's Joel Silverthorne. I want to say thank you. We're at the Garden Brook Senior Village, and I just, you know, we'll all see each other, 400 units walking through the hall, and I know you were nice enough to come over one time, and I think that it was nice when the police came over and would do their paperwork. If they park there, that's great. That makes the seniors feel even safer. So that appreciate it. Some of them are a lot more fragile than I am, so we appreciate that a lot. And so I think with the new laws, the state and the federal Supreme Court, that things have gotten a lot better. And I've called dispatch, and I've been great help from them. So that's been great just to see somebody in front. And but they're anything if they do the paperwork there, that's always help. Or eat their lunch there or whatever. Yeah, we will always appreciate that. So you guys, this time I think I just want for the community just to say no problems, and thank you for helping out with that. And I've seen you all there. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it. Have a good day, y'all.
Thank you. Nicholas Dibbs?
Mayor Kloffenstein, members of the council, citizens of Garden Grove, my name is Nicholas Dibbs. I have some things I want to follow up on. First off, the city of Santa Ana allows people that have disabilities or can't make it in person to call in. I'm going to say this again. I don't know how many times I have to say it, but you need to be fair to the community. If people cannot come here in person because they have a medical disability or they need ADA accommodation or disability or medical condition, then you need to allow them to call in. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out. We did it during the pandemic. I'm asking you to be fair and allow people to call in who live in Garden Grove, who have can prove that they have a medical disability and can't be here. So it's about, George, and I'm going to say this to you because you've said you're not in favor of it, and I don't know why, but I don't come up here necessarily I come up here because I have concerns, and I want the community to hear what the concerns are. And the people who can't be here, they want to be heard. Okay, that's number one. Number two, bring back Youth and Government Day. Number three, we need to have safe route to schools. We need to have a youth commission or a youth advisory group. So I'm going to ask that the council member, one of you or two of you, put it on the agenda, please, or as a discussion item to allow people to call in. Let's get that out of the way. Okay, be fair. Now, what I want to say in the remaining time I have is I have the utmost respect for Dina Nguyen, who's on the school board, and Walter Munetten. They are not the problem. You recognize the school district, that's fine. I'm a product of the school district. I'm an honors graduate from Pacifica High School. I'm a credentialed teacher. I am very proud of our school district, but there's some things that need improvement. Like we need to have ethics, fairness, and fair elections. And the evidence shows that the superintendent and some of the people in her sphere of influence at the school district, and two or three of the school board members, not Dina and not Walter, interfered in the election and manipulated the spending of taxpayer dollars. I don't have enough time to get into that, but you recognize the district at the last meeting. I agree with the good things that the district does. At the same time, the public deserves to know what's going on. And the election was hijacked, rigged, and sabotaged with the manipulation of taxpayer dollars, and that's what the evidence shows. So if anybody wants to call me, they can. My number is 714-715-7600. I can't live in a banana republic. I can't live in a country that manipulates elections with taxpayer dollars. So that's why I'm going to try to stop it, and I need your help. But put that thing on the agenda to allow people to call in who have a disability. Thank you for listening.
Madam Mayor, point of order. He called me out by name. So can I reply?
Yes.
Yeah, the previous speaker basically made allusions that I had told him I wasn't in favor of something. What was spoken, in fact, was that we already have a means for communications to the council prior to the meetings. I discussed with him that it was emails. We get those. Our city clerk provides them to us prior to every meeting. Anybody who has questions, comments, concerns that has handicaps or disabilities has the ability to send an email to the city clerk, and they send them to us, and they provide them to us free. You got your time.
Yeah, you don't get to.
So I just want to make sure that that is made aware to the public. It wasn't that I was against it. Some of the folks tend to use it as a platform more than for the actual, I guess, to stroke their egos more than anything. So I said, we do have that system in place, and I just wanted to make that abundantly clear that people with disabilities can relay their comments to this dais. So.
Thank you, Councilmember. We'll go ahead and move on with oral communication. Is it Paul Keel? You're up. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Paul Keat. I'm about a 40-year resident of Garden Grove. Pay my taxes. I've worked here, lived here, and done everything basically in Garden Grove for the later part of my life, the last 40 years. And right now, we have some pretty significant problems in the community that I live in. I live in a condominium that's right off of the freeway. And all of the people that live in the condo pay their taxes and pay their highway taxes and pay, for their automobile registration, and we pay association fees and all that. And on the other side of the wall, between our places and the freeway, is basically sort of a community of people that pay nothing at all. And they breach our fence, they destroy our property, they come into our property in and out. They're not overly aggressive towards our property, but they do come in and do damage in our property, and just everybody feels that it's a safety issue, having these folks living there without any other means except for, being able to hop over the fence anytime they want. And they've been removed several times, and they just come back, like a boomerang. They're back. They were removed this morning, and they're back this afternoon when we drove down here. And I don't know how many of them they took out today, but there's been up to, I think at the most I've ever counted is probably around 8 people living back there. It's a real small area. And one of the main problems, there's 2 major problems. One is that they're in the drainage for the Caltrans property, and all this runoff water goes down into a culvert at the end, right at the fence that they tear apart to come in, to breach the property to come in. And the thing is full of trash. It's like probably about knee-high inside the culvert. So when the rain comes this time, if nobody's cleared it out, there's a really good chance that it's gonna flood into the street. And nobody even addresses that. And when they do come and take the guys out, nobody follows up. We don't see another officer or anybody from the city or anything for months, sometimes 6 months, maybe even longer. So, shoot, I went a lot further than I thought I would. Anyways, I really appreciate you listening, and it's a really important problem, and we're very concerned with it. It affects everybody in the community I live in. So I thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next is Linda Towers.
Hi, I am Linda Towers. I'm a board member of the New Brookdale Homeowners Association. We are in your District 3. These are my neighbors here, several of them. Our community is near the intersection of Newland and the 22 freeway. I'm here to explain our continuing safety concerns with the adjacent homeless camps and their impact on our residents. Last December, our association management company sent a letter to the council documenting a long list of serious problems and very disturbing incidents that have occurred. We have not received any response. There are 2 homeless camps situated in the buffer or setback zone between the freeway sound wall and our community block wall. To bring in their tarps, tents, and belongings, they access that zone on Newland at a section of the chain link fence they have cut through. It's located at the edge of the underpass of the 22 freeway at Newland. Caltrans repairs it occasionally, but one person with good wire cutters solves that the next day. From my upstairs window, literally, I look over the largest camp. I see people come and go. They have no trouble hopping over the block wall to enter our common areas. On January 14th, I attended the council meeting with another resident. We both spoke and explained the real fear we have for our neighborhood safety every day. When I reviewed the minutes of that council meeting, I didn't see any reference to the topics we discussed. Here are my questions. Has the council reviewed and discussed our concerns about the homeless camps and the threats they pose to our community? Have you made any steps towards solving this problem? We understand funding was approved to install the improved security fencing to restrict their access to that homeless zone. When will it be installed? Is there a process for residents to receive feedback after speaking in person at the council meeting? And lastly, I just prepared 6 pages that I would like to officially give to the clerk, and they are a summary of my statements, a copy of the letter our management company sent you in December of last year, a photo of the larger homeless camp, the one I look at, a photo of the smaller homeless camp, and a photo of the gaping hole in the fence I took this afternoon at 3 o'clock, and a Google snapshot of the fence location where you can kind of see the freeway and where the fence actually is. But I got a really good picture of the hole in the wall. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, if you give those the clerk, and we're not really allowed to have a back and forth, but we'll make sure people reach out to you to answer your questions. Thank you for your time tonight. Patty Dawson.
Mine's kind of just, welcome, I mean, thank you. I live in District 3 too, if you ever saw that movie. It's like District 13 over there. We have been having this homeless problem for years, and we are fed up with it. As I said last month, there was a dead body, they started a fire. Now they're graffitiing, they're decorating their area now. And like Linda had said, or Paul had said, this morning when I left at 8:30, the police were there, they were arresting somebody, 2 of the encampments were removed. When I was coming to this meeting, one's already back. So I don't know, my questions, last time I asked 2 questions. What can I do? What can the council do or the city do to help us? And the 3rd question is, how do I get an answer? Last time was a waste of breath. Wasn't in the minutes, nothing. So if this is a thing that is a waste of time, please let us know. We're getting ready to do something on our own because the flooding, and then what they didn't mention was one of the residents' car was broken into, but he left his clickers in there. And so they went in the garage, and then they broke the window and went in the home, and luckily, for him, luckily he was home. It's getting to the point where I'm gonna have to get a gun. And I don't really wanna get a gun, I had mentioned that last month, but I'm getting forced. And if I do get a gun and somebody comes into my property, I am going to use it. And please don't put me in that position. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll make sure someone reaches out. My last card here is Ali.
My name is Aziz Ali, and I'm with that group. I've never been to a city council meeting, but I moved into the new Brookdale condos in 1986, and I've been there ever since. I'm just grateful that my kids are grown and have moved on and don't have to live under the conditions that we're living under. I probably live the closest to the camp. I'm 25 feet from the camp, but there is the block wall between me and the camp, and I monitor them pretty regularly. Years ago, when they first showed up, I'd wait for a Sunday when nobody was working and nobody was there, and I cleaned them out. I took all their stuff and took it to the furthest dumpsters and put it in. I didn't like doing it, but I wasn't getting no help. I called the police, and the police says, well, you have to call the county. The county says you gotta call Caltrans. Caltrans says you gotta see OC Public Works. I just got run around in circles and nobody's doing nothing. And here it is 10 years later, and it's worse. This past year, fire truck had to come into our property twice to put out fires that the homeless started. There was a dead body found this time. 2 months ago, my next door neighbor caught one of the homeless trying to break into his water line, which comes in the back of the garages. He was trying to fill up his water bottles, and he was taking a picture of the guy, and he's telling him, what are you doing? And the guy's just ignoring him while he's taking a picture of him. And so his wife called the police, and I came out and I saw that he had tampered with mine, but he couldn't get into it. I have a lock on mine. But the police showed up, and we said, the guy's right there over the wall. He's at the further camp. And he said, we could arrest him, but I'll tell you what's going to happen. We'll take him down, we'll book him, and they'll let him go. And he didn't want to scare the guy. He says, and he might come back and just mess with you more because you had him arrested. So what's the sense of having him arrested if they're just going to turn around and let him go? You know, that's not right. And him and his wife, they're young, and they live in fear with that kind of crap, and it's not right. You know, something needs to be done. I caught a guy messing with an Edison pole, the ones that come on by themselves that are maintained by Edison. I have a picture in my phone. He was taking it apart with a plier and a screwdriver. I don't know why, but I was waiting for a big bolt of lightning to just knock him off the wall. I said, what are you doing? So anyways, I just wanted to add that it's only getting worse, and when we can't even have them arrested or taken away for fear of they're just going to be let go and come back, and if the guy's got a vengeful attitude, he's going to take it out on the people that arrested him. So I hope you guys could do something.
Thank you. That's all the pink cards I have. Anyone else wishing to speak? Okay. Thank you very much. We'll go ahead and move on to, we have to recess actually and move on to successor agency.
Member Brightingham?
Here.
Member Nguyen? Here. Member Tran?
Here.
Member Dovin? Present. Member Aristegui?
Here.
Vice Chair Muñetón?
Here.
And Chair Klumpenstein?
Here. Okay, this should be pretty quick. We have receive and file the minutes from the meeting held on January 28th. I'll entertain a motion. I have a motion and a second. Call for the vote, please.
I'm sorry, who was the second? Thank you. Motion received, 7 yes votes.
All right, any matters from successor agency members? All right, seeing none, we will adjourn and go back to our city council meeting. We are at our consent calendar. I'll entertain a motion unless someone would like to pull an item.
I'll entertain a motion. A motion.
Fantastic. Motion and a second. Call for the vote, please.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
Okay. We'll move on to commissions and committee matters. We do have the appointments of our city commissions this evening. This is going to be a little laborious, but I'm going to go through each one individually and we'll vote on it. So we'll start with the Administrative Appeals Board. And I apologize if I mispronounce someone's name. I know how that feels, so I'm sorry in advance. I have Johnny Nguyen, Kathy Ladd, Power Tran, Calvin Tran, and Nathan Bowie. Unless there's any other discussion, I'll entertain a motion and a second on that.
I'll second.
Call for the vote, please. Moving to Downtown Commission, I have Elizabeth Dang, Jennifer Stewart, Catherine Mukatek, Lin Nguyen, Marilyn Tortolano, Rebecca Weimer, and Viet Tran. Yes, it's 7 on that.
Is that 5 or 7 on that one?
That's a 7? Yes, that's a 7. The only one that's 5 is the admin.
I'll second.
Call for the vote, please. Moving on to the Measure O Committee, I have Chris Beard, Robert Sanders, Fernando Ferrer, Leslie Malo, Mark Mechanic, Christina Liu, and Fong Chi Tran. Call for the vote, please. Neighborhood Improvement and Conservation, I have Hannah Jung, James Kester, Jennifer Tackney, Julian De La O, Kawane Payne, Rosalind Rubin, and Mark Paredes.
Second.
Call for the vote, please. Moving on to Parks, Recreation, and Arts, I have Andrea Perez, Daniel Gonzalez, Dolores Ruby Garcia, Kelly Price, Majda Jeremy, Michael Marr, and Ted Stevens.
Second.
For the vote, please. Planning Commission, I have Bert Ashland, Fernando Cueva, John Ramirez, Joseph Laricia, Josh Lindsay, Chris Beard, and Roger Flanders. Do I have a second?
Second.
Call for the vote, please. And our last commission is Traffic. I have Cesar Morales, Dewu Zhao, James Webb, Jeffrey Sanders, Lyle Flatibo, Ricardo Cepeda, and Maureen Blackman.
Moving up.
Call for the vote, please.
I think it's Lyle Flatibo.
Oh, sorry. I told you I was going to mess up a couple of those. Thank you all very much. I know that this was a kind of a monumental task. I think it really shows, though, the amount of people that are interested in serving in Garden Grove, and that's a good thing. And whether you made it on the commission this time or not, I want to thank you for applying and showing your dedication to the community. And there will be opportunities to be placed on commissions in the future. So keep your applications in. We look forward to, new and moving people up through these commissions. And again, we appreciate your service. And if you're looking for ways to give back in the community, there are plenty of ways to volunteer and to do so, not just on these commissions. So reach out to your council members, especially if you didn't get on a commission. How can you help? How can you be of service in the community? Believe me, we can put you to work. So thank you all very much. We'll move on to items for consideration. Number 7, approval of amendment number 6 to the Orange County Humane Society contract for sheltering services for animal care services.
Good evening, Mayor. Yes, we have Mr. Public Works Director Bill Murray here to provide the report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. How will we do that way? Ms. Mayor, members of the council. Tonight, City Council is being asked to approve an amendment number 6 with the Orange County Humane Society contract. The Humane Society currently provides shelter services for our animal control division of the Public Works Department, and they've done that since 2017. Recently, 3 main issues have arisen that has necessitated a review and amendment of the existing contract. First is the need for the city to add some services to the existing contract that are currently not covered. We are requesting these additional services that will increase customer service and reduce some frustrations that the citizens are having when they do business with the shelter. Secondly is the impact of the Stray Cat Alliance. They are no longer providing return to field services for the city. This function will be handled by city staff, but the majority of the function will be handled by the AAA Animal Hospital and with remainder work by the shelter itself. Finally, the new contracts will reflect increased costs that have been borne by the shelter during the pandemic and recently basically our recent inflationary costs that have gone on for the last 3 or 4 years. The proposed new contract with the Orange County Humane Society will be raised from $290,000 to $310,000 and provides for services up to 3,000 animals. There is also provision to increase the contract to $350,000 should the city go over the 3,000 animals. Of note is a separation of the OCS services contract and those services provided by AAA Animal Hospital. The AAA contract is following in our presentations here, and most of the contract increases are reflected in that contract. Staff would like to point out that this contract will sunset in the year 2027, and at that time, staff will competitively bid out this contract again. This concludes staff's report. I'm available should you have any questions. I also have here Heidi Poe, who's our Animal Control Services Supervisor, and she can help with any additional questions.
Thank you, Mr. Murray. Colleagues, questions?
Madam Mayor? Oh, go ahead.
Or Tim?
I do have a question. Either the Do we have like a service log or a report of how many of the animals we've had serviced, and will we be keeping track of that?
Yes, we do. We have our numbers for the past many years. I can provide those to you guys at any time.
Yes, please share them. I'll take it.
Yeah, I just want to make it clear, this isn't a new contract, this is just a 2-year extension to the existing contract, correct?
Correct.
I'd seen a few posts on social media and whatnot referring to this as a new contract. I just want to make that clear to the public, and comments will be later. So.
Colleagues, any other questions? Okay, with that, did you have a question?
Sorry, probably just the same question like Council Children were asking about how many that we have last year, just so that we have, because over here it's set up to 3,000 call or whatever. So I know that I asked the staff, but I'm not so sure if we got the information back on that. No?
I'm sorry.
Last year we did impound approximately 1,455 animals.
And so this amount is up to that amount, or is that the flat fee?
It's a flat fee. Yeah.
Okay. Because we said that it's only 1,000 something. This one we said that we're gonna go up to 3,000 calls for that amount. So I just want the public to get the same message.
I think in a perfect world you'd get 0 if you could, right? But we could go up to 3,000 if we had to.
The needs there, correct. Councilmember Philip Nguyen, did you have a question?
Yes, and all these documented animal that we take in, do we have any kind of document about what we serve, do service for the animal?
Yes, we do. We have various categories, and we can provide all that specific information to you.
I guess this is probably the appropriate time for comments, since I think, when we went to the Orange County Humane Society, there was a lot of different animal folks here. And there's some very distinct groups of the animal folks. There's the Orange County folks that just love Orange County. They hate all the rest of them. There's the WAGs people who they just love WAGs, but they don't like anyone else, and then you've got the Humane Society, who actually has a pretty large following too, that we use, but they don't like the other two, right? So it's kind of an interesting dynamic in that, the animal folks in Garden Grove here. But, because it was kind of controversial when we first went into this contract, I know Councilmember Stephanie at the time, now Mayor, and myself, we both did some independent, sneaky surprise inspections on it, just to make sure that it was up to par and, things were clean and everything was, and it was actually quite nice. I mean, it's not a Taj Mahal, but, it's a fairly clean, decent run place. It's pretty organized. They had groups of people that would go in and wait for a dog to go to the bathroom, and then they'd take a quick picture before the staff could clean it up, and oh my God, and there's all that kind of nonsense going on. So again, it's not the Taj Mahal, but it's a clean, decent, adequate, nice place, safe for the animals until the owners can come and pick them up and reclaim their pets and whatnot. So anyway, I'm good with it. I know it saves us, and it saves our taxpayers a lot of money to go through them instead of the county. So my thoughts.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
Do I have a second? Second. I have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, I'll call for the vote.
And I would encourage all my other council members to go over there and check it out. Drive in there. Don't even announce yourself. Just show up and check it out, and see what it's like for yourself.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
Thank you. Yes, I think obviously educating ourselves on the operation so that we can be transparent with the public is important. I had a fantastic meeting actually with Heidi and with Bill Murray and staff at the Public Works Yard today to talk about animal care. And I would invite my colleagues to do the same, just to learn more about really what is a monumental task of running animal care in Garden Grove. One of the good things, though, about OC Humane is they are only servicing our city, Garden Grove. And we have a lot of pets and a lot of animals, and the need is great. And so we have a good working relationship between the two. Okay, we'll move on to item number 8, approval of a contract with AAA Animal Hospital for veterinary care services.
Yes, and Mr. Murray will be providing that report as well.
Great.
Thank you, Ms. Vasquez, Mrs. Mayor, and members of the council. Tonight, the council is being asked to approve a contract with AAA Animal Hospital for the veterinary care support services to the Orange County Humane Society. As discussed underneath that contract for the Humane Society, the veterinary services for the Humane Society have been removed and will be funded under this contract, new contract, for $190,000 per year. The Humane Society currently provides shelter services for our Animal Control Division of Public Works. They've done that since 2017. That contract provided for the veterinary care that was required by the city. This contract includes the veterinary work previously conducted also by Stray Cat Alliance and that original veterinary work that was under the Orange County Humane Society contract. So we've moved that over to the AAA contract. And so under that umbrella, this is where there is an increase in costs. So these contracts have been separated at the request of the owner of both facilities. The reason is the Humane Society is a nonprofit organization. AAA is a regular business. So when you're looking at running the operation and taxes and things like that, combining the both was very difficult. And it didn't work out very well for the doctor, such that he wanted to separate the two. So that's what we're doing. And also in this contract, we are providing, I'll tell you again, for the veterinary work that was done by Stray Cat Alliance. Stray Cat Alliance has decided to no longer to provide return to field services for the city. So we're still providing that service, but we're using city staff, and then all the veterinary work will be done by AAA, and then a little bit of work by the shelter. So AAA renders basic needed medical treatment and care for the animals that we impound and bring to the shelter. AAA is located next door, so it's under the same ownership, and it's very convenient for the animal or the shelter staff to run animals over to the hospital to get the care that they need. There is basic care that's required, and we also have, it'll be under Heidi's control as to whether we provide additional care in order to save an animal's life and what have you. And she makes those decisions. Considering all the contracts involved to provide the shelter, the veterinary service, and the return to field services, the city will be paying an overall increase of $140,000 when you look at all of the contracts combined. This contract also will sunset in 2027, and we will bid out the whole thing at that time. This concludes the staff's report, and I'm available if you have any questions.
Colleagues, any questions?
Yes, I have a few questions, Mr. Murray. With regards to the return to field program, is there going to be any changes from the cat trappers side with regards to how they operate in the program with this new contract change? Because I believe currently folks have to get a cat trap permit, show ID, et cetera, call in, they bring in the cats themselves. Are there going to be any changes on that end?
Nope, no changes. We still ask they fill out a permit, prove they're a resident of our city, and we actually go and pick up the cat at their house.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. They can bring it to us if they'd like, but we do go out to each resident's house that traps it, and we pick it up.
Okay, thank you so much. I do want to point out that part is not clarified on the city website that has the information with regards to the return to field program. So I don't know if that would be a point of clarification that we could make on that page so that residents understand that that's an option that's available to them, and perhaps that's something that could, encourage more folks to participate.
Yes, I can do that change.
Thank you.
You. Councilmember Brightingham?
Yeah, just a quick question, and I guess it's the same as what you were talking about, the changes. I think the Stray Cat Alliance, when they did it, didn't they do a clip in the ear or something so the cats could be identified, so if they got trapped again, they, wouldn't get respayed or whatever?
Correct.
Are we still gonna be doing that?
Yes, any cat that goes through the program will get vaccines, a rabies shot, flea medication, and the ear tip.
Okay, they just tip the ear, that way, if they should get trapped again, they don't go through the process again, they don't need.
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
when we go to a call, the officer will observe the cat in the trap, and you can visually see the ear tip.
Right.
And then the cat would be released right
And I
there.
did have a question on that, because I don't know the answer, but I'm assuming the cats don't feel that, right? That's-
No, they're under sedation.
Okay,
Yeah.
I know that was asked before, and so, anyway, thank you very much.
I believe the Return to Field program is a success and is something that the community appreciates. Could you just elaborate a little bit more on that, please?
Yes, let me. Yes, we actually get overwhelming amount of citizens that call us each week wanting to participate. Sometimes we can't help everybody because we don't have enough slots. And so it's been a big success, and the city residents really enjoy it. They call us every day, all day, asking to get a permit. They come by the office to get a permit. We can email them or send it in the mail. And up to date for this fiscal year, we've released 190 cats that have been trapped. And we've gone to, I think, approximately like 220 trap calls. But out of those calls, we've gotten 190 cats gone through the program. And we have the potential to do around 400 to 500 with our budget. But we get residents that they love the program. We rarely get we never get anybody that says they don't like the program, so, yeah.
That really shows the need. Thank you so much.
One more question, May?
Yes, of course.
Yes. So this 190 number, is that included in the previous number we heard earlier, about 1,000 something animals that
Yes.
get impounded?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's all part of that?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. Call for the vote, please.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
All right, item 9, approval of a purchase and sale agreement with Michael Liu and Kim Family Trust for the acquisition of property located at 12381 Harbor Boulevard.
Yes, this evening we have Deputy Director Greg Blodgett here to provide the report.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. Tonight we have for your consideration a purchase and sale agreement for 12381 Harbor Boulevard. This property is located on Harbor Boulevard in the heart of the Grove District. It's positioned in between the Great Wolf Lodge to the south, Sheraton Hotel and future Nickelodeon to the north, and is west of the city's new, actually west of this is the city's new Site C hotel development, which is a $500 million mixed-use development with 700 new hotel rooms. It's also 1.2 miles from Disney's Forward $2 billion expansion and $5 billion OC Vibe. So subject property under consideration is owned by Michael Dean Lau Trust. It's basically 6,000 square foot lot, includes 950 square foot house with 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Property is adjacent to 4 other homes that we acquired, the city has acquired, for Fire Station 6, although we now have built this on West Street, leaving these available for a new use. So the site will be a total of 3,200,000 square feet for future development for Harbor Boulevard. So the general terms and conditions are a purchase price of $850,000. Commission will be no commission to the buyer, all closing with no contingencies, and the closing cost is expected to be $6,000 and a 5-day closing escrow period. So at this time, it's recommended the city approve the purchase price and sale agreement and appropriate $865,000 for the purchase from Economic Development department from the general fund, and authorize city manager or designee to execute agreements and make minor modifications. This concludes staff's report.
Thank you. Yes, colleagues, question from Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Greg. I think it's $858,888, and you said 858, so the other 888 is going to come out of your pocket.
Thank you.
Pay cut.
Yes, you have it correct, 8588.
Congratulations. I think this is a purchase well earned. This property on Harbor Corridor is instrumental in helping us develop our part of the tourist industry, and we have 3 other pieces which this kind of connects the dot. If anybody plays Monopoly, the board game, this would be a highly desirable. Normally, a few years back, this would have been a lot less, but it's not, because this is in line with the property value at this time, and I'm very, very happy that it's going to be part of our properties and resources to develop in the future, a Joe Dovin museum of unnatural history. But congratulations, everybody voted on this, and I think it's going to be a huge asset, and thank you to Ursula, who's worked hard on it, and it'll come under your department, and hopefully we can develop something great with it. Thanks again, Greg.
Councilmember Tran.
I just want to say thank you to our staff, because when we first talked about this, we got the preliminary kind of contract, and when we look at it, we look at what posts on the public, right? It was a lot lower than that, but we already know the value of it, and also the where it is and what the plan the city, in terms of the view for the city. And so, make a long story short, by looking at the result, the amount were less, and also there's some other costs that would be significant more, but you were able to remove it. So awesome job. I did not know that you would be able to do that, but that's so the hard work that you put in. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Just a quick comment. I'm really happy staff was able to acquire this in a fairly reasonable price. When you own the properties on either side of that small property, and you got an owner who thinks he's going to maybe try to sock it to you a little bit because he knows you want to acquire the whole amount, So, yeah, kudos to staff for getting that at a reasonable price. And thank you for all your diligence and hard work on this.
I think we're all just going to be sharing great feelings right now, but I also would like to commend staff for doing such an excellent job. We have a vision for what we want to see happening, especially along the Harbor Corridor, and you brought us a lot closer to really beautifying the area and helping it reach its fullest potential. So thank you guys so much for all the work that you've done.
Right. Well, we're excited about this. Yes? Do you have a question or comment?
I am the one who very interested about this property myself. And I have compliment to the staff that able to buy it. To me, it's a good price. And because it's the harbor front, we can do anything with it. It's a good investment. Thank you so much.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. Call for the vote, please.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
All right, moving right along. Item 10, authorization of purchase order issuance to multiple auto dealerships for 8 new police department administration vehicles.
And we have Public Works Director Bill Murray to provide the report.
Thank you, Ms. Vasquez. Ms. Mayor, members of the council, tonight City Council is being asked to authorize purchase orders for 8 new police department vehicles from various local dealerships for just over $338,000. The police department currently has 8 administration vehicles that meet the city's guidelines for replacement and were approved through the fiscal year 2024-25 budget. Details of the vehicles are provided as an attachment to your staff report. Specifications were prepared and sent to bidders in the local area. Only one vehicle, a Chevy Traverse, received qualifying bids, with Selman Chevrolet being the winning bid. No qualified bids were received for the other 7 vehicles, so staff negotiated the contract with the appropriate dealerships. The results are listed in your staff report. Funds to purchase the replacement vehicles will be paid from the Fleet Management Fund. The older vehicles will be auctioned off and the funds received back into the Fleet Management Fund. This concludes staff's report, and I'm available should you have any questions.
Colleagues?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I do have a question, just quickly. What's the life expectancy of these vehicles once it's purchased? How long can we have it in use?
They're police vehicles. They could last a day.
That's going to come out of your salary too.
Or we, on a general sense, we look at 6 years or 100,000 miles. But also, some of these vehicles are used for undercover purposes, and if the vehicle has been quote unquote made, so to speak, then the officers may ask for it to be changed out.
That makes sense. So let's say we can put it in use for 5 years at about 40,000 each. That's less than about 8,000 a year each vehicle for use year round. So I think it's a great deal. So thanks for negotiating it, and look forward to put it in service. They're administrative, so I'm assuming it's like community liaison, report writing, and other services other than a full police vehicle that is put in use for enforcement.
I'm pretty sure the chief has good plans for them.
Thank you, sir.
Councilmember Bryden.
Yeah, I'm happy to see that Garden Grove auto dealerships are being utilized to purchase these vehicles. To mention Garden Grove Nissan, Garden Grove Kia, OC Honda World, Garden Grove Hyundai. It's too bad we couldn't get the Chevy at Simpson Chevrolet, but it's still good. Almost all Garden Grove dealerships here. I just want to remind everybody, if you are a resident of Garden Grove, there's a program, and if you buy your new vehicle from any of these Garden Grove dealerships, you get a $500 credit. So all you have to do is show your driver's license with your Garden Grove address. Bada bing, bada bang, $500 off that new car. So just keep that in mind. I'm glad they're using our local dealerships for this purchase, and I'll make a motion, or unless there's more discussion.
I'll still take that motion. Do I have a second, or any other comments or questions?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Call for the vote, please.
Motion received, 7 yes votes.
All right. Before we go around the horn here this evening for matters, we're going to have item number 11, which is an update on code enforcement activities, as requested by City Manager Kim.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the City Council. I just wanted to highlight Community Development Director Nikki Wessel has done an extraordinary job in really building our code enforcement team. And I've asked her and her staff to just share a couple of highlights of some of their key initiatives that they've brought forward. And Rafael is here to share that with the council. Thank you.
So good evening, Madam Mayor and honorable council members. My name is Rafael Avila, Code Enforcement Supervisor, and today I will be providing updates on the code enforcement activities, which include code enforcement areas, vacant lots and abandoned buildings, sidewalk vending, our tobacco enforcement grant, our beautification events, and ending with data on current caseloads. Our current code enforcement unit consists of 9 full-time and part-time officers, with 3 code volunteers that provide assistance to our operation. Our code enforcement unit consists of 9 full-time, part-time officers and 3 code volunteers that assist us with our operations. Previously, citizen requests would be assigned to code enforcement officers who would then address cases citywide. In July of 2024, we created 5 code enforcement areas, with each area having an assigned officer. The designation of code enforcement areas leads to greater efficiency, as officers can now focus on cases in their geographical areas. This allows our officers to become better acquainted with their areas and build relationships with residents, property owners, businesses, and other stakeholders. Next, on vacant lots and abandoned buildings, Currently, there are 40 vacant lots and abandoned buildings that we are actively monitoring. When vacant lots and abandoned buildings are not maintained, they often become an attractive nuisance with violations such as transit encampments, graffiti, illegal dumping, unsecured and dangerous buildings, and other issues. To mitigate these concerns and issues, we try to address it in an expedited manner. Code enforcement has implemented a shortened time frame and deadlines for these properties. We also are in communication with our city attorney's office to explore other legal remedies, including receiverships, nuisance abatements, or civil injunctions. By emphasizing maintenance of vacant lots and abandoned buildings, we improve their security and encourage development of these properties. One property that we are focusing on within our vacant lots and abandoned building program is a 3-acre vacant lot found at Flower Street and Stanford Avenue. While there are no structures on the property, there are a number of violations, including an unsecured vacant lot, dilapidated fencing, transit encampments, improper occupancy, discarded trash, debris, and graffiti. Due to the conditions of the property, the amount of calls for police response and OCFA response, and due to the potential impacts to the surrounding properties, code enforcement will continue to monitor these properties very closely. On the topic of sidewalk vending, code enforcement conducted a multi-language education campaign that occurred in May through August of 2024. Vendors were advised on permit requirements and approvals that were needed in order for them to operate lawfully. Unfortunately, many vendors did not comply with our required actions. Therefore, in August of 2024, code enforcement partnered with the Orange County Healthcare Agency and began elevated enforcement, which included the confiscation of equipment and disposal of perishables. Code enforcement has also established an administrative citation process where sidewalk vendors may be issued citations. Code enforcement has shifted operations to provide 7-day coverage into the evenings and the weekends. To continue addressing sidewalk vending, the city has entered into an agreement via a memorandum of understanding with the Orange County Healthcare Agency to provide weekly enforcement. These details seek to curtail sidewalk vendors from obstructing the public sidewalk and to cease unpermitted food operations. These multi-agency details are coordinated with colleagues in Public Works and the Police Department. Since July of 2024, code enforcement has had 169 interactions with unpermitted vendors. Updates on our tobacco enforcement program. In November of 2024, the city entered into a tobacco grant memorandum of understanding with the California Department of Justice. With this grant, code enforcement will be provided funding until 2028 for a designated code enforcement officer who will be inspecting tobacco retailers and providing education. Code enforcement will also enforce the state's tobacco flavor ban and ensure retailers abide by other regulations. Since receiving grant funding in January, code enforcement has conducted 54 tobacco-related inspections. Next, to highlight our beautification efforts. In April, May, and June of 2024, Community Development participated in an educational campaign to highlight the services provided by the department. The campaign was dubbed Plan, Build, Beautify. The multi-language campaign, which included social media posts and radio and television broadcasting, emphasized code enforcement's role in beautifying our community. To continue beautification efforts, code enforcement, along with its city partners, will be working to beautify the Gwinnett Clinton community. In April, code enforcement, Public Works, the Police Department, Community Services, and a number of nonprofit organizations will give Gwinnett Clinton a day of beautification, where volunteers will embark on tasks that improve the community. Code enforcement will continue to identify additional neighborhoods for the future beautification efforts and will target completion of 3 beautification events per year. And finally, some data on caseloads. Code enforcement continues to stay busy. This figure shows how many citizen requests we received for the past 6 years. As you may see, since 2020, the number continues to climb. For 2024, code enforcement received 2,723 citizen requests. Currently, our code enforcement officers maintain an average of 309 open cases per officer. Through our staffing levels, we address citizen requests and ensure code cases are addressed accordingly. This concludes our presentation on code enforcement, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for the detailed report. We appreciate it so much. Do I have comments or questions? I'm assuming that I do.
got a question. On the tobacco program, I'm glad to hear what you said, what, excess of 40 inspections?
So currently, we've conducted 54 inspections,
54
tobacco-related.
inspections?
Yes.
Are you also doing that where they like send in a police explorer to go try to buy a pack of cigarettes or something? They still do that too?
That's next on our queue, yes. Coordinating with the police department so we can have undercover minor buys, yes.
So they haven't been doing that yet?
Not yet, but that's currently in works.
Okay, that was gonna be my question. How many arrests have you made or citations on that type of thing? I'd imagine nowadays it's gone down quite a bit, but I'm sure it's still.
Yes, there's a lot of education advising against the selling of minors, but it still occurs.
Thank you very much.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Mayor. I do have a couple questions for Supervisor Avila, and commendations. You've really rebuilt your team under you, but I want to make sure that we have enough resources available to you. You said 9 staff. Is that sufficient for now, or do we need to hire more?
So with 9 staff members, we're addressing it the best that we can. We're definitely a busy city, a large city, and with the resources that we currently have, we are trying to take a hold on the workload that we have. So we're trying to manage as best as we can.
Great. So I also on the to kind of beef up your team. I don't know if it's related to the building department, but I think we might need to hire a building supervisor because that position might be available. I'll address to Nikki, and Deputy Director is also here.
Thank you for that question. And we actually did in the last fiscal year, Councilmember Dovin, we did have a building manager put into place. And that was really to kind of shift things around so that David could focus more of his efforts on the code enforcement team. So we have filled the building supervisor or building manager position, in addition to, in the past year, bringing Raphael on as our code enforcement supervisor.
Oh, great, because I meet him in the field. I meet David in the field, and I've always had a very good experience with them. I wanted the residents to know that code enforcement is not out to get you, we're not here to hurt you. We're here to bring people into compliance, and I've always had good luck with David, and now with Officer Avila. We have made our rounds there, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's very tough, and sometimes there's some pushback. People don't always understand what we're trying to do, but you have to know that property value increases because of good code enforcement. So we all benefit from our property values going up. As you see, we are paying more and more for our properties in this area, and any help we can get from the Building and Planning Department and code enforcement to improve our neighborhood. I like the theme. I wear it. See? I have this button. Plan, build, beautify. In fact, if it was up to me, it'd be build, build, and build. But we welcome all the builders in town. The ADUs, it helps us with our housing element. I was interviewed recently by a Harvard student, PhD candidate out of Harvard School of Government, and they're asking about our city and how we meet our HUD requirements, and I have to explain in length, but it's very, very important that we maintain proper development throughout our city. And good, like I said, good code enforcement, it raises everybody's property value. It just makes our neighborhood so much better. So plan, build, and beautify in Garden Grove. That's my plug for it. Thank you, Community Manager Lise Kim, for requesting the report. I'd like to see them back in 6 months. I think I've seen you in front of us. If we could bring them back every 6 months or so. And commendations to Deputy Director. He's wearing a lot of hat, David Dent here. So at some point, you're going to have to, beef up the staff a little more than we already have. And I'm good with going to 10, 12 members. I think we still a little bit underhanded. So that's my plug for the night. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Councilwoman.
I'm glad that Councilmember Joe Dovin brought up staff, because we know that your department also relies very much on the good faith of volunteers that come and help you out. So if residents are interested in volunteering with the code enforcement department, Where do they go? Who do they reach out to? How can they be a part of this?
Thank you. Thank you for the question. And absolutely, we are always looking for applications from volunteers. If you go to the code enforcement website, there is a link to be able to apply, and you can always contact the code enforcement department through email or give us a call, and we can let you know how to do that as well.
I had a question regarding Beautify Buena Clinton. What does that entail? Is it just the building itself or the community? Because there's a lot of potential for doing more murals in that neighborhood. So I would like to know more about that.
Sure. Thank you. What we're going to be doing moving forward is we're going to target to do 3 Beautify efforts in different areas of the city each year. And we have our neighborhood cleanups that are, basically our public works staff with Republic, and those are a little bit different. What we're looking to do is not only have the trash collection, but to partner with our community organizations and nonprofits to do graffiti paintouts, to maybe plant some flowers, to if there is very simple maybe fascia board repair or anything that we that we can do in a day to actually build up that community. And it will also be in partnership with the Buena Clinton community or with whatever community members that want to come out and volunteer and assist with the effort as well. So this is really our first one. We're looking at getting food donated so we can have some food there, maybe a police department booth or whatever, so that we can have resources available to this community. So it's really not only to go in on that day and beautify the community, but then leave some information and resources for people to know where to go for any future help they may need.
Thank you so much for that. And I would like to be part of that as well. So if I can just be in the loop for that, I look forward to that.
Absolutely.
Thank
We'll
you.
be sure to let you know.
Yeah, I have very similar requests just when you do that. But also, I remember when I first started as a council member, I thought about doing something, beautiful for our city. And I did talk to a couple of people, and I have sponsor that said that if we do like a painting or something in our area, they would donate some money too. So that is something that please keep in the loop, because I see that you have the target area that you want to do something nice. I would love to be part of that, and I would love to make that connection so that way we could get some fund from outside to help with that too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent.
That reminds me of the Palma Vista neighborhood. There was a few years back where we had quite a large group of people, different staff and community members and nonprofits, and our police department came together and did a cleanup, planted trees. We have a mural in that location as well. So it's always, I think, just a great opportunity for the community to come together and well received from the neighborhood. So thank you for the presentation. We appreciate it. Code enforcement has been for the past several years a key priority of the City Council. And I think opportunities like this to showcase the scope of work that you have, which is very robust, is always a good thing. We appreciate the transparency and just the information. Obviously, vacant lots, abandoned buildings, they're throughout all of the council districts. And I really appreciate the short notification periods and the deadlines for compliance and enforcement. So thank you for your diligent efforts tonight in your report.
Thank you.
I believe that's just a receive and file at this time. So again, thank you. We'll go ahead and move on to matters from our council members. George, we'll go ahead and start on your end this evening.
Well, I'll start off with, we had some folks, a lot of folks here today talking about homeless issues and whatnot. I think it would be kind of appropriate if we got the SRT team here for an update, kind of similar to what we just heard. I also be a great opportunity for them to give us some upward feedback. Some of the officers and the sergeant, maybe what we could do to help make them more productive, if they have any suggestions or anything like that. But I'm kind of curious too, is how things are playing out since the new camping law, camping ordinance went into effect, and what they've been seeing dealing with that. Kind of ask that whenever they're available and they can come in, it would be nice to get an update from our SRT unit. Talking about service clubs, we did the commission appointments today, and, you know, congratulations to all the new and returning commissioners for the city of Garden Grove. You're going to have a lot of work. We do thank you. It is a thankless job. I did it for 20 years, so I know. You don't get paid. You get a lot of headaches, but my hat goes off to all the commissioners. For folks who are always looking, you know, I hear, where could I do? Where can I volunteer? What can I do? Boy, our community is so full of volunteers. We need volunteers, and we use them well. Code enforcement just gave a little, you know, if you want to volunteer for our code enforcement. The service clubs, though, are great. You know, you join one of the service clubs. We have Kiwanis, Elks, Moose, you name it, Lions, Rotary. We've got more service clubs, and, you know, and they serve a vital component. Strawberry Festival Association, the Women's Club, you know, they're all looking for members, all looking for volunteers, and everybody, you know, everybody chips in, and, you know, the Strawberry Festival, that doesn't happen without hundreds of volunteers, you know, Strawberry Festival Association. So, you know, there's all kinds of things. If you really, truly want to help your city, I recommend looking at the service clubs and, you know, maybe considering joining one or two of them. And, you know I'm a member of Kiwanis. I think, Stephanie, you're a moose, aren't you?
Elks, moose.
Elks and a moose, yeah.
Start naming them off here.
Yeah, I recommend. So, yeah, I recommend looking at the clubs and seeing what kind of fit your needs. They all serve different type of platforms, you know, some focus on youth activities and some focus on other things. So yeah, find one that fits your niche and join a service club. Lastly, the first district walk will be February 22nd in my district, 8 a.m. at the fire station on Valley View, Fire Station 84. It's a good time to come out and meet. I'll be there, our city manager will be there, our mayor will be there. You got to do 6 of these, don't you?
I hope I lose a few pounds after all these steps.
So we'll all be, you know, if you have questions, comments of staff, or accommodations, if you want to tell them they're doing a great job, we'll have our city staff out there. And, you know, you can point out things along the walkway. I'm going to publish it on my social media, so you can go there to kind of see the map. If you don't want to do the whole walk, you can meet us at one of the checkpoints, and, you know, there, and we're going to walk the whole, well, not the whole district, but mostly just the west side there, but you can meet us at one of those checkpoints, and if you have any comments or you want to point things out to us of, you know, stuff that concerns you, you know, there's a pothole you want to show us or whatever, but it's a good opportunity to come out, get some exercise, and maybe working together we can resolve some of our local quality of life issues in the community. And that's about all I have.
Thank you. Councilmember Nguyen.
Yes, interesting. Today I'm very happy that to see that we have approved city commissioner that going to help us to work for the city, like you say, it's free. And another thing too is about we also approved the animal care. I love animal, so I'm happy about that too. The third thing is very happy about we able to purchase the property in Harvard. To me, it's a good deal. And also, I think our police department is very important, so we need to equip for them as modern, as good as, you know, anything that we can do for them so they can serve the community better. Also, I would like to thank you, the city manager and the staff, provide me and Council Cindy Tran with the certificate of recognition from 38 Tây Sơn, Bình Định celebration. We represent the city of Garden Grove, and they're very happy with us. Thank you.
Councilman Tran.
Thank you. Couple items. So first, couple of us attend the youth baseball parade couple of days ago. It was amazing. Well, the one thing is that you get to see the little elementary student walking during the parade, but also the way that they organize and they empower the little kid, the little athlete, and also the whole time they were very respectful to the council, and they make us so special. We feel like we were very like a VIP. But also I want to say thank to Council Member Ariana for sharing the ride with me. I didn't have a ride. Joe have a ride, but I did not. So we were just cheering the entire ride. So thank you so much for having me to tag along with you.
It was my honor, Cindy.
So that first, and then second, about Tayson Binden event. So I did not want to say that, but I just want to say thank to John Montages. So what happened is that during the process, the requester forgot a step. So they actually did not submit the application the whole time until very last minute. They said, oh, nothing happened. And then John looked into that, oh, they never submit the application. So they were very appreciated that our staff took the action so quickly. Just a couple of days later, they got the approval. So they did mention that during the event that I just want to bring it back. And thank to John and our staff for taking the action so quick to resolve the issue. Next, relate to the speaker earlier about the homeless. So first time when they came here, after that, I did reach out to Sergeant Brown and ask him to have a tour with him and probably focusing on in District 3, especially in that area, Newland and 22, and also Gilbert and Chapman area, because we have many calls related to the homeless issue. And then after that, I did the follow-on with our chief to have a ride along, and we are planning for coming up, just because the last couple of weeks we were so busy with many events with the Lunar New Year. So just for the record, we did not forget about your call or your concern. We're just working on it. Beside that, during the agenda review, I did talk to our staff relate to the homeless issue. What are the steps? What, all the update. I know the council short pretty good mentioned a little bit, but I asked staff about, the navigation center, the chip, like all the little things that leading to that. After this, where do they go? How many got houses and things like that. So yes, you may not see it, but we are working behind, and sometimes it takes time. And I think all the council here could agree with me on that. Next one, this one about the TED festival at Garden Grove Park. I just want to say thank to our staff, our police, everyone did an amazing job. When you went to the park, you have to go to the blockers and all kind of things, because people have a concern during the before the event. People have a concern that what if somebody run in, etc. and etc. But when you went there, you will see just everybody was so impressed with our staff, with the police, and everybody was overseeing that. So that way, people feel the safety provided by our Garden Grove police and the staff. Last but not least, this is related to, actually, the Valentine's Day is coming up, so in only a couple more days, so just want to wish everybody happy Valentine. That's it for me.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Madam Mayor and colleagues. We're still in kind of that Lunar New Year festivities, so I do want to speak to the UVSA and congratulate them on a successful event. It could be even more spectacular, so hopefully next year we can bring them back. Like I say, it's 1 year at a time. And thanks to our policing and everything was under control and we had nothing unfortunate. There may have been some publication about other festivals in and around Orange County that's not related to our UVSA event here in Garden Grove. And I'm very proud of the young people who provided the traditional activities to everybody to participate. So I'm looking forward to bringing them back next year. I spoke a little bit about the building and code enforcement divisions earlier today because it's very important for us to have those services being robust. As Councilmember Brigham said, we need a very robust code enforcement, but also to be able to implement our policy in a way that it's not too harsh or heavy-handed. So that's something that I've always tried to balance, and I think our department is doing a fine job of recruiting and retaining because good professionals in the field is very hard to find. They're very hard to replace. So that's why I'm always encouraging internal promotion because they're homegrown. We've groomed them. We've invested in our staff, and we'd like them to move up every opportunity we get. So that's just an FYI, City Manager. On the last note, the community services, I think, should probably come in and report their activities every 6 months or so. We've had the director in front of us, and that's good to help us know what's going on around town, get feedback, and in one case, we took care of it, like Councilmember Cindy Tran spoke to our staff, but that goes year-round. It's not just certain events or certain time of year. So I'd like to have the director come and report just like the code enforcement did. I think that's valuable for our residents to hear about that and get good information from our meetings. I also echo Happy Valentine's to my wife, Nina Nguyen, and the love of my life. The other one is my daughter. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I recently attended the Cal City Mayor and Council Academy right here in Garden Grove. The conference provides new council members like myself with essential trainings on various topics. I had a good time connecting with council members from other cities and also gave us a great opportunity to connect with city staff as well. I had a great time. Wrapping up the Lunar New Year festivities, I attended the TEP parade in Westminster, getting a ride in the fire truck with my colleagues. Was a very fun opportunity. We waved and smiled at hundreds of spectators. Afterwards, passing out lucky money in envelopes to children along the parade route was the highlight of the experience. Additionally, alongside Stephanie and Ariana, we were able to be present for the UVSA opening ceremony, which was equally as fun. Not to mention, they're back in Garden Grove, so that is where they belong. Also, I recently met with Chief Afara and learned a lot about the hard work of our police department. We discussed several topics impacting our community, including immigration concerns. At our last council meeting, my colleagues strongly emphasized the importance of not harboring criminals, and I fully agree. Our priority is a safe community, one where children can play in our parks without fear, where families aren't worried about drunk drivers, and residents are not victims of theft or violence. Violent individuals, regardless of their status, should be held accountable. At the same time, I understand that some in our community are fearful due to national policies on immigration. These are neighbors, parents of students who attend our local schools, and people who visit our local parks, businesses, and churches. I want everyone to feel comfortable calling the police if they are a victim of a crime, if they are in distress, or if they witness a crime, without the fear of deportation. It is important that all residents feel safe reaching out for help when needed. Our police department has built a strong reputation, and we don't want that. We don't want to see that ruined by fear. I also I want people to know that in 2017, the city passed the Promoting Community Harmony and Safety Resolution. It denounces hate and supports the chief of police not requiring officers to verify legal status during deputies. Similarly, Garden Grove Unified School District passed the Safe Haven Resolution in 2017 to foster acceptance and harmony in schools for all students. Also, speaking of Garden Grove Unified School District, I recently visited Crosby and Stanley Elementary to support our wonderful PTAs, and it was a pleasure connecting with many of our families there. One issue raised from the parents at Stanley was pedestrian safety. I made sure to pass along the word and the concern to the city manager, and I look forward to working on possible solutions to address them. And lastly, yesterday I had the opportunity to tour some great local businesses in District 5, including Shawarma House, and Vegan Stop, and Jerusalem Roasters. It was inspiring to see the dedication that goes into creating great cuisine and sharing rich cultures with our community. A big thank you to Rashad from the Arab American Civic Council for setting up this wonderful opportunity. I encourage everyone to check out these fantastic local businesses by the intersection of Harbor and Lamson next to the Great Wolf Lodge. Thank you.
Councilmember Arsegi?
Hi, hello everyone. I want to start off by echoing Councilmember Muñeton's sentiments, especially with regards to the issue of immigration and the concerns that are faced in our community. It is important for me to let folks know that in Garden Grove, we want everyone to feel safe. And I really want to echo especially the point that if you are ever in a situation where you fear for your safety, you are in distress, please do not hesitate to contact our law enforcement. We don't want folks to fear that they're not going to be able to receive help if they're in a situation where they fear for themselves. So please do not hesitate. I know that these are, pretty confusing times, but our police department has done a very good job of reassuring our citizens. And of course, the resolution that was passed in 2017 really echoes those points. So please do not hesitate to reach out to law enforcement. To continue, I want to wish everyone a happy Black History Month. I'm really glad that we're recognizing this here in the city of Garden Grove. I also want to say that we had a great time at all of those Tet festivities. I grew up going to Tet Festival in Garden Grove Park, and it was a big tradition. So I'm really glad that UVSA and Tet Festival are finally back home where they belong and where I hope that they will stay for a very long time. So congratulations to all of the organizers who put the event together, and thank you to our police department as well and city staff for making sure that the event went smoothly and that everyone was safe. I also attended the League of California Cities Conference with Councilmember Muñeton, so I want to thank our wonderful city staff, our management team for supporting us through that conference. We learned very, very many things. We love a conference, and we're really glad that you were there with us. Also, the Doig Intermediate School Mural Project is up. So if you guys drive past Trask, you will see an amazing new mural. I'm looking forward to us honoring the students that helped get that mural going, as well as the artists. So I'm sure that you guys are going to let us know when we're going to do all of those fun things. But I'm excited to see that we have some beautiful art coming up in District 6. This past week, we also had the opportunity to tour the Central Cities Navigation Center, which is located in District 6. I want to thank our homelessness liaisons, Christy Lay, for setting this up. I had the opportunity to tour this with Monica Covarrubias, Timothy Throne from our Office of Economic Development, as well as other city staff. So I really want to thank everyone that attended, because I think it's great that we opened up that tour opportunity to other members of the staff, not just the folks that work in that specific department, because I think it's great that we get like everyone to see all the really cool things that we get to do. And especially right now with, we just heard so many concerns with regards to homelessness. I think it's great that we get the opportunity to see these programs up and running. So also a huge thank you to the project manager that oversees the Central Cities Navigation Center, Daniel Torres, for guiding us and answering all of our questions. I was really impressed by this facility. Now that they're fully up and running, I'm really glad to see that they've been able to successfully place folks into housing and see kind of like the scope of what they're still able to accomplish. Thank you to our colleagues over at West Garden Grove with West Garden Grove Baseball, and thank you, Councilmember Bright, again, for inviting us over to your neck of the woods. We had a lot of fun at the parade. So much. I was working on my pageant wave with Councilmember Tran. We got to meet R2D2, which was stunning, amazing, spectacular. Very much fun in the Model Ts, and we loved being there to support the kids. Some other just fun things to bring up is that the Strawberry Stomp is coming up, and Councilmember Rodriguez, you brought up joining service organizations, and this is a great opportunity in a way of participating, a fun way of participating to support our Sister Cities Association. I will begin training in earnest, guys. I promise I'll do the marathon. Yeah, I'll do it. And another passion, just a little passion project, a little shout out, that we have a compost giveaway happening this Saturday. Folks that know me know that I love to garden, and my plants are thriving partially because of the quality compost that I have gotten from our compost giveaways here in the city. So there is proof. The proof is in the pudding. This compost is great. So please, I hope that all the residents will go out and get their 6 free bags of compost until supplies run out. This Saturday, February 15th, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Garden Grove Municipal Services Center on New Hope. So go get that compost. Spring is starting. Get that garden growing in Garden Grove.
Thank you so much. Just to the residents that came out this evening, pretty much the majority of the pink cards this evening for oral communication were about homelessness. We do obviously take great care on this issue. It matters a great deal. Again, it's a key priority of our city council and of the city as a whole. I appreciate the residents coming out and sharing their concerns. We very much are paying attention to it, and I appreciate Councilwoman Tran's updates just on hitting this head on and working with the residents in District 3. Obviously, it's something near and dear to all of our hearts. And just for the community at large to understand more about what we are doing in Garden Grove, when it comes to homelessness, on our city website, we have a whole page dedicated to how we're combating homelessness in Garden Grove, about our short special resource team and the different agencies that we've partnered with, and to really show that our homeless numbers are actually decreasing in the community. So I just invite everyone to head to our city website to take a look at how we are, I think, in a very robust way handling this issue that's affecting all of us here in Garden Grove and everywhere, truly. And I want to congratulate UVSA on a very successful TET Festival. My colleagues and I were there, and it was packed. So I look forward to seeing some numbers and some more information down the road just about the successes and how things went. It was definitely a celebratory weekend in Garden Grove. So again, congratulations on bringing the TET Festival back to Garden Grove, its home. So thank you so much. City Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. I just have a couple items. Thank you, Councilmember Brightigan, for mentioning SRT to come back with some updates as in relation to their homeless outreach and efforts. And so coincidentally, we will be bringing back to the council in a very upcoming meeting an update to the comprehensive strategic plan to address homelessness, and part of that presentation, we will definitely include SRT as part of that presentation. So thank you for that input. Once again, also thank you to the council for your support of our code enforcement staff. They've been extremely busy with over nearly 300 to 400 cases per officer. They're trying their best, but I do appreciate your support to continue to bolster that unit where we can. So thank you again for that input. And lastly, I know we celebrated the Tet weekend, but Councilmember Tran and I took part in the Disney Half Marathon that routed through the city of Garden Grove. I barely made it out of there alive. I think for 3 days I couldn't move or feel my toes. But it was an extraordinary time, inspirational, and just a lot of fun. So it was a great run. We also had Deputy Director David Dent, and my daughter was participating as well. So thank you.
May I say something really quick? I just want to say, Lisa, you and your daughter were my inspiration. Because by the 10 mile, I have no more energy. But I know that you guys were going to make it to the end, so I have to keep pushing myself. So thank you so much for doing it. Thank you.
Very good. City Attorney, do anything this evening?
Nothing from me, Mayor. Thank you.
Very good. All right, with that, we stand adjourned.